What is going on, SoFi fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. It's funny, I do all these SoFi videos on how SoFi is a huge disruptive company and all that fun stuff, but at the end of the day, I feel we just aren't a part of the group. I'm going to explain what I mean by that, especially more so looking at a lot of the actual banks, what happened with them. For instance, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, all up 5+%. But in reality, what happened to SoFi? We got 1 cent up. And again, coming from an investor standpoint on how we've been going down, I'm not complaining about the 1 cent, especially more so on the intraday chart. We did have a nice rebound, but still, I feel like based on the whole banking sector, we have a very good invite and it's very valid, and that invite is technically just the charter bank. So we are officially a bank, so we should be a part of the group. We should gain the benefit of every aspect of being a bank. And for instance, in particular, why a lot of the banks did go up is because a lot of them are going to be having their earnings coming out, and there's a lot of anticipation, especially with higher interest rates, as I've been saying in almost every single video, that SoFi is going to be making a lot more money with higher interest rates, as is a lot of other banks. So it's funny to see a lot of these banks rally because of hypothetical just earnings, but SoFi only gets 1 cent. So I found this a little bit more interesting, but it's been backwards for a while. At what stage do you personally feel that this is going to have a reversal? Because we had our Q2 earnings. We increased on a customer basis 69%. As far as a product basis, 79%. So that is absolutely mind-blowing. So again, when it comes down to it, this is why it's very discouraging when I do a lot of these videos, because on paper, SoFi has and does have a lot more potential than a lot of the traditional banks, such as Bank of America, JP Morgan. But in reality, I think the more comparable ones is Bank of America and Citi. But still, let me know your thoughts on that. This is why I still continue to buy a SoFi, because when there's something like this that doesn't make sense, it can only be suppressed for so long. Even more so today, we had roughly about 2 million shares that was returned coming from shorts. So I'm just going to explain and go over that, give you a quick update on that. So 2.23 million shares of SoFi that were being shorted were returned, and that is pretty substantial. So it does coincide with going back on this actual chart when shorts were closing out. So again, CPI came out, definitely a lot of fear around that, but for those of you that did read between the lines, it wasn't as bad as a lot of people were portraying it. But in reality though, this is why I'm getting at, SoFi is a huge buying opportunity and has been for quite some time. But again, we're just not a part of the banking group or banking posse, or you guys get what I'm saying. But even more so on a comparison basis, like I already have done in previous videos, as far as our revenue growth and every other aspect and metric, SoFi is going to outpace them on a percentage basis. And by them, I mean Bank of America and Citi, as I've compared to in the past. So just looking at this briefly, as far as a comparison basis, over the last 6 months, I have SoFi, Bank of America, Citigroup, and I do obviously threw in JP Morgan in there. So again, just on a comparison basis, over the last 6 months, SoFi is down 30%, JP Morgan down 15%, Citi 18%, Bank of America 19%. So we're definitely down at least around 11%, 12% if you want to average it out. So we're down 12% more than the traditional banks, and that's just over the last 6 months. If we want to extend that to, for instance, 1 year, then this is where things get really effed up. And so in reality, close to around a year ago, this is when we had that charter bank news, so in January. But even more so on a year basis, as far as that goes, SoFi is down 74.11%, whereas Citi, JP Morgan, Bank of America, anywhere from 32 to 40%. So definitely goes to show that we've been really manipulated for a very long time, and that does not make any sense whatsoever. So again, I've really stressed this in the last couple of videos, the importance on this upcoming earnings, and that is going to be set for November the 1st at 7 a.m. Eastern time. So that's when they're actually going to be coming out with the actual report. The conference is at 8 a.m. So definitely subscribe. I'm going to be live streaming that. But I personally feel there's only so many times that we can have very, very good earnings and kind of still get ignored from the broader group. Because like I said, with a lot of these banks coming out with their earnings and having very good profitable earnings, definitely goes to show that SoFi has still every capability to do the same thing as a lot of these traditional banks. Just the only big difference is a lot of these banks have been around for quite some time, so they definitely have a huge amount of customer base. When SoFi is really trying to raise the interest rate, so offering 2.5 APY to incentivize customers to come over to them. In reality, that's just going to be a short-term thing, how I see things at least. I could be completely wrong. Keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own due diligence at the end of the day. But like I've been always saying, SoFi is a long-term investment. Being a disruptive company in one of the oldest sectors in the stock market is not an easy task. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. This is why everything I explained today is why I still continue to buy. When you do get these little bit more abnormalities and when things do not make any sense whatsoever, that definitely goes to show and validates that there is manipulation, which we already knew that's been kind of lingering for quite some time, but that can only last for so long. A stock cannot be suppressed. As much as huge potential SoFi offers, it can't be suppressed forever. So eventually we are going to have a massive breakout, and when that does happen, I'm going to be on the sidelines extremely happy, giving the middle finger to the shorts, and very happy with seeing my portfolio. So in reality, I have an average, I believe it's around $6.25. If it does touch below that $5 mark once again, I'm definitely going to take advantage of these cheap prices because it will not last forever. With all that, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe, is always greatly appreciated. If you do like my channel, want to support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on SoFi.